I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing, sing with me, perfect harmony. And I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. That's the song I hear. I'd like to teach the world. Let the world sing today. Oh yeah. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. La da da da. Do 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 do.
You know I'll beg, steal or borrow, but I'll bring you love. I look at you and I see what I've been looking for. Now it's very clear to me we should be together.
You make me feel I could reach for the impossible.
And knowing how much you care, I'll be there forever. You know I'll beg, steal or borrow to give you sunny days.
Beg, Steal or Borrow was a Eurovision song. I think Eurovision is a thing unique to itself, and there are people who absolutely love it, and that is perfectly fine, but it's not for me. But back then it was absolutely fantastic. It really was great, and it was great fun. I really enjoyed it.
And you came second, of course, to, was it Après Toi?
That's right, yeah.
Come
yes.
What May?
Yeah.
Vicky
yeah.
Leandros.
Which, I mean, that was a beautiful song. Yeah, that's maybe more my type of song, to be honest. Beg, Steal or Borrow is a lovely harmony song and sing along, typical David Mackay thing. And there he was in the pit conducting the orchestra. And of course, at the end of it, then it was the songwriter who came up and got the award. And there was more substance to the song, and it was less to do with the show. Nowadays, I tend to think that a song might win simply because they've spent a lot of money on the production of the staging, you know.
But the song that you will always be, remembered for, I suppose, is "I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing," and it really is the most amazing thing, I think, to have a song like that connected with someone for literally the whole of your life. I mean, you must look back on that and think, that's something you can never take away from me.
Could never take it away, and I still enjoy singing it. And that's the thing, for instance, about this album, and the one that I did one about 12 years ago. Having come to Scotland, it seems my career, my solo career, it was here all the time. I left home all these years ago. But to be able to sing songs that I like, I'm picking songs because I like them, not because, let's do that because it fits into the country or pop or whatever category it is. Just doing songs that I really like. And the thing about Teach the World is I never get tired of doing it, because every time I sing it, there's a different audience, or it's a different night. Even if it was the same audience, it'd be a different night, so it feels different. It always feels new. And that's the same with every song that I sing. It's always in a different place, or it's a different time, or a different audience. So there's something fresh about it. Or it's just the way I feel. It's just, it's just always new. It's just because I like singing.
And of course, I mean, all this new material that you're doing as well, it's almost like a reboot of the Eve Graham career, if you like, isn't it? This new album, etc. And it's come as a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, a very pleasant surprise that you've been able to go back in the studio again. And you know, I'm sure it's not going to be your last album that you ever do, but certainly the album itself, you know, a matter of time, and Slipping Away in particular, you're finding a new audience almost.
I'd like to think so, and it seems. I mean, this is a new direction. It seems to be getting to new places. I'm very happy to say. I mean, it's the first time that we've met, and I know that, you know, you're going to be letting other people see this that have never heard me speak before, or didn't know that I was Scots, didn't know I could still sing, didn't know I was still alive. And I think that is the good thing. I found it therapeutic to start singing again. I did think that I wouldn't sing anymore. And when I had the thought of singing and wanting to do another album, my first question was to question myself, was to question my ability to sing well enough, because obviously at my age I'm not going to sing as well as I did 50 years ago, but I've had a damn good try.
And it sounds pretty good to me.
I'm quite pleased with the result, and I can only do it if I'm with David. David Mackay beside me. It's not just a case of spurring me on, but it's more a case of stopping me if I'm not doing as well as I could. He's always been very good at giving me a boot up the what's it, and telling me that I'm not, you know, if I'm not getting it right, and that encourages me, because I feel that I can freely express myself, because he'll tell me if I'm losing the place.
So when you first realised that this song was beginning to climb the country charts, and you know, you haven't been in the charts for a wee while, and all of a sudden Slipping Away is doing very, very well, and the video's out now, etc., and the song is being enjoyed by a lot of new people, that must make you feel really happy.
I'm absolutely delighted. I'm absolutely thrilled. It wasn't what I expected. It's not why I did the album in the first place. I needed to do it for myself. I needed to do it to probably boost my morale a little bit, just get me back into living a little bit. You know, I've been 3 years on my own now, and I'm very lucky, you know, because most people at 75 are sitting staring at four walls thinking, this is it, you just wait until the lights go out. But, you know, to be able to still have something that I can do, and it seems still do well, I just, you know, I'm just so thrilled. I really am.
See it written in your eyes. You confirm it with your life. You're the way you can hold me. I would rather that you told me where you wanna be. Oh, slipping away from me. Oh, slipping away from me. And it's breaking me into watching you slipping away.
What's the secret then? Because you said yourself there, you're 75. You don't look 75 at all. You look fit and healthy, and you're walking about happily and running about with dogs and stuff. You know, you've still got your voice.
I'm not sure about the running.
But I mean, you're obviously doing something right. I mean, do you kind of have a fitness regime or something, or do you just?
No,
be
absolutely
yourself?
not. No.
So so you can't give me any secrets then, or any advice.
I always put it down to good whiskey and bad men. No, I'm joking there. No, it was I'm flattered, of course, at what you've said, but it's not the first time. I'm sure you'll understand that I've been paid a compliment like that. It is in the genes, fortunately, that I seem to be wearing reasonably well. I tend not to put on weight, but I do walk up the hill. I've got quite a big garden, so walking, gardening. Although I'm having a bit of trouble now I want to do more than I can do now, but I'll just have to sing a bit more and get my lungs going a bit more as well.
And of course, with this new success with the song and the album, etc., people want to see you live as well. So what's the situation there at the moment?
Well, there was to be a tour last year, and I was going to be going out with Dominic Kirwan and Barry Kirwan, but they had to pull out. Dominic Kirwan had a health problem, I think. Nothing serious, but enough that he couldn't travel on that tour. And that meant stopping that. So I'm hoping that I think the promoter is looking out for another vehicle, maybe for me. So I'm staying open-minded, but I think, so much has happened so fast because it's 12 years since the last album that I did. And as I say, I just initially did this one. I started off wanting to do just one or two tracks, and I ended up doing a whole album once I discovered I could sing. And David, of course, set the time aside for me. Still being able to work with him, of course, to me is the bottom line. I think I've always been a fatalist, so I'll just keep an open mind and see what happens next, see if you want me anymore.
Oh, I'm sure they do. But I mean, obviously, the New Seekers days were fantastic. The experience you had of #1 records, Top of the Pops appearances, obviously the Eurovision Song Contest where you came runners-up as well. Lots of hit records. People will always go on remembering you as part of the New Seekers. But of course, the flip side of the success as well was, and this happened a lot with 60s bands and 70s bands as well, was the poor contracts that the artists signed and are now kind of paying for effectively, because it's always the writers that get the money and the artists don't get a penny. You must look back on that with kind of mixed feelings.
Oh, they're not mixed.
Mixed feelings in terms of the success, obviously, and the performances, but then the flip side, obviously.
Yeah. As we say, we got all the glory and the managers got all the money. Yeah, we were before the days of showbiz lawyers. It was sort of, well, while we were still working, I think, you started to hear about people who were being represented by a lawyer, by a solicitor who specifically looked after the artists' interests and they were managing them, but also knew the legal jargon, whereas we were signing contracts that they had holes all through them and didn't leave us with anything at all. So initially there were some royalties coming in, and then it all kind of fiddled away, and we don't know where it goes, and something gets signed over to somebody else, and we can't keep up with it. The artist can't keep up with it, so you end up with no royalties. But all I can say now, yes, it did make me bitter, like everybody else. For a long time, you feel frustrated because you don't know what to do about it, because you can't afford one of these expensive showbiz lawyers. They don't want to chase your money because very likely they have to chase your money from somebody that they are doing other deals with for somebody else, so that they're not going to want to be on your side because you're a nobody compared with the somebody else that they're doing a positive deal with. So you find yourself not getting anywhere to try and reclaim any of these monies. So you have to move on. But it is very hard. You do get very bitter. Having reached this point in my life, I can look back now, though, and say that most of the people who did have a lot of money that came from my time spent it all, lost it all, drunk themselves to death, went on drugs, did what, you know. There's not that many of them that came out of it and made another life with the money somehow. I've always lived frugally anyway, so as a lifestyle, I'm not sure what I would have done differently anyway. If I had had the money, what would I have done? I've got a nice house, I've had a nice life, I've got my dogs. The only thing I haven't got, of course, now is my husband. And, you know, I can't blame that on money. So, you know, I think all in all, if I had to choose anything to be different, it wouldn't be the money I'd want back.